Hello, everybody. Leeds have lost again. Um, yeah, I was told I was overreacting. I was told there was 22 games left. Um, I keep getting told it's harsh on Farker. I don't really know where I'm at right now in terms of this guy's long-term future. He's killing the attack. His plan B is to throw on Vibes FC, loads of attackers when we've gone 1-0 down. He will refuse to enact any style of play that is outside of just passing the ball 5 yards in play. We have an open play XG now of below 1 goal per game for 6 straight games. So he's killing our attack. We're susceptible. We're easy to read. We're predictable. And that's automatics gone. Southampton will catch Ipswich. I do thoroughly believe that. And maybe that is our best chance in the playoffs, having Ipswich down there. I don't think they're going to hold on to that. I think Southampton are just a freight train at the minute. 17 games unbeaten. Leeds have now, I believe, lost 5 in 10. And for me, you either go big in the transfer market, you really think about what's going on now, because we're not getting automatics. That's gone. I thoroughly don't believe that's going to happen. There are still people saying Ipswich are faltering. I mean, Ipswich if Ipswich are faltering, what are we doing? We're completely falling apart if they're faltering. I don't really know where to go with this now. We're seeing the same patterns, the same trajectory. LUTV are trying to, the fact that they're trying to coast this narrative right now, they've just put here big Anthony chance on the 60th minute. That's not a big chance. It's a half chance. We were completely pathetic in that second half. What was the halftime team talk? Embarrassing. We're coming out with no verve, no swagger, no anything. And we're just average. I think we're just easy to predict. It's another mid-block, another congested mid-block, and they're able to deal with us. Yeah, it's not difficult to deal with Leeds United. It's very, very simple. Very, very simple. I don't think it takes a genius to do so. I was surprised McKenna came with the same Ipswich style, where he was just trying to go at Leeds United. And I think that's why we picked them off. But when you're being just pragmatic and thinking to yourself, well, we're just going to hold fire a little bit with Leeds, deal with them, let them have the ball a little bit, and we'll hit them. It's not difficult. It really is that simple. Me and you could do it. Because Farker doesn't really change anything up. I don't think he's a mesmeric manager. I don't think he's like a real innovative manager. He did really, really well at Norwich, and that's incredible. That was a phase of time. Things are different now. And I'd be really, really questioning us with this guy next year if we're to be in the Championship with a much weaker squad, which we will have next year if we were to remain in the Championship. Let's get through a couple of your comments. Keep us quiet in the first 20 minutes. It's game over for us. Not so terrible performance. He's got to go. Potter, Lopetegui, or the Norwegian guy, Knutson, I think that is. We have a weak mentality when we play away from home. Need a proper striker, someone who scores goals. Someone like Chris Wood was superb with us. He's just not it, everyone. He's nowhere near it. Someone said that in his last 6 games, he's on the watch long. They said he's got 0.54 XG per row. Play him in his proper position. That's what I keep getting told. Because people don't see the big circle number 9 on the team sheet at the top of the pitch. It doesn't work like that. he's not a number 9. You see his positioning. Even when Rutter's deep, Perot will be deep. He's not a number 9. He's never been a number 9. I always say this on these sorts of chats. Chat to a Swansea fan. Any Swansea fan will tell you he's not a number 9. Obafemi was the out-and-out, in my opinion, number 9 for Swansea that season. Perot's more of a 10, a 9.5. He's not number 9. So they're forcing Rutter forward. And Rutter's acting as the number 9. We don't play the ball in the box when we've got 2 players at 6'1" in Perot and Rutter. They're completely confused, in my opinion, when it comes to defending. You saw that with the first goal, and you saw that with Preston at the weekend, where the wingers are now lethargic in getting back. James and Somerville, I thought, against Preston were weak and were passive in their defending, which needs to be a part of any unit when it comes to championship football, successful championship units. I thought tonight, again, Somerville was lapse, but I thought Byron was awful when he was on. I thought Jed Wallace, everything good came through Jed Wallace. And not only that, but Byron was giving him 4 or 5 yards of space every time. Now, if that is an issue, then bring your midfielder back, bring your winger back, and Somerville wasn't doing that, so there's a lack of communication between them both. I thought it was off between Jed and Nonto. I know it's only been the first time they've really been together, but it looked off, completely off on that right hand side as well. Something that myself and others have been craving. And we crave these things because we need a different dynamic. We feel like we need an alternative. We don't have that at the minute. It's predictable. We're easy to play against, in my opinion. And the second half of the season, if he's not pragmatic and if we're not aggressive in the transfer window and we don't do things a little bit outside the box, teams are going to be able to set up like that against us because they played against us once. A lot of them probably won't play against us like that again. They'll look at Rotherham, who are near the bottom. They'll look at Coventry, near on mid-table. They'll look at West Brom, who are top 5. And you can taper how you play against Leeds in, accordance to where you are in the division. Because any team can do it. You can do it if you're at the bottom. QPR nearly did it. Sheffield Wednesday did it. Rotherham did it. You can do it if you're in the middle. Coventry showed that. Swansea showed that for 50, 55 minutes. You can do it at the top. Southampton, Sunderland, West Brom. So, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, the guy's not going to adapt. He said that. He never adapted at Norwich. Nothing changed. He came out in the interviews afterwards, would blame everything else but him. It was always the same. I was told that by Chris Reeve and Jack Reeve. Never would take the blame for anything. He'd blame everything else but himself. And yeah, he will just continue as he's going. So we know what's going to happen. We know it's going to be him throwing on subs when the opposition score. We know it's going to be short interchange passing. We know there's going to be no long balls to try get past the press. We know there's going to be no variation in tactics. He's not going to go to a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-4 or a 4-4-2. He's going to stick with the 4-2-3-1. And we're going to play like that till the end of the season. That's going to be it. That will be it. And because he's done that at Mönchengladbach, he's done that at Norwich. There's never been a change in that. So that is how we will play. There will not be some just like evolution because he's at Leeds. It's not going to happen. Get a coach in who can take corners and free kicks. It's just boring. I think you're right, Lewis. I mean, I'm watching it at the minute, and if you missed the watch along, you missed an actual treat. We were talking about fish and chips. We were talking about the evolution of the Packard Bell shirts. We were talking about all sorts on the watch long. There's no point in watching the game. I'm watching the game, and we're just having a laugh in the comment section. It was actually fun. I'm saying to everyone in the comment section, there's no point in watching it because nothing's happening. It's predictable, and if we're finding it predictable, if we're finding it boring, stale, tripe, imagine what like West Brom are like. West Brom didn't even look knackered. I said at the end of the game, I messaged my dad just on the sly, and then my dad messaged back saying, look at the West Brom players. None of them were mucky. It wasn't like they were putting their bodies on the line because Leeds kept a town who was so good. And West Brom dug out a draw or a win wasn't anything like that. West Brom players were clean. The kits were clean. And do you know whose kit is clean consistently? Every single game, Yoel Perot. There's never any sort of like grimace on his shirt. He's always spick and span. That is 16 million quid's worth. I think is a massive waste. This guy just contributes when we're good. Rutter, listen, I love Rutter. I think he's ingenuitive. I think he's creative. I think he's innovative. I think he's a Premier League player. I think he's a Bundesliga player. Yo, Pero's not a Premier League player. That was a stupid buy from Leeds United. I've not seen anything. Physicality, athleticism-wise, nothing. That makes me think 16 million quid he's going to be a Premier League player. There's no chance. If we get to Premier League, you bin him off straight away. There's no way he copes in the Premier League with the speed, the athleticism, as I've just mentioned, the dynamism. He's nowhere near it. And listen, he's got a good record in the Championship. Of course he has. But he's way too out of games. I'm sick of seeing him out of games. I'm sick of seeing this guy. When the going's good, he's good. But when the going's bad, he's just absent. Someone said in the chat, Peronymous. Again, another game where he's just absent. So, because he's absent, the game-winning attributes are just Rutter and Somerville. That's it. And if Somerville's out of it, I mean, what have we got? Really? Yeah, well, Leeds fans says we need a change. You can't just call Perot out tonight. Everybody's woeful. But with Perot, Steve, this isn't just this is a £16 million player who's supposed to be our goal scorer. I've said that he's not a number 9, but apparently people think he is a number 9. So if he's a number 9 and he's getting the chances that he had tonight, he had 2 chances tonight, half chances, but 2 chances tonight, of which I'm putting my bottom dollar on. Adam Armstrong scores for Southampton. I'm putting my bottom dollar on. Jamie Vardy scores for Leicester. That's the difference. But because they're Leeds players, and because some people have just this, because they're Leeds players, we have to defend them. Steve, I'm not a fark out because I think that's irrational. But I'm really trying to figure out. I will criticise him, obviously, as you know. Adaptation isn't this guy's forte. He doesn't adapt. He in a way adapted tonight in terms of making 5 changes, but I just thought it was a bit. I mean, it was forced upon him. Strout was injured, wasn't he? Apparently, Kamara had a bit of a problem. Melier was obviously suspended, so a lot of them he had to change. But he brought Gruev in. You know, he brought Byram in. I just think the guy lacks what a lot of people. The big Farker thing, in my opinion, was 2 weeks ago. He came out and he knew exactly what he was doing. He was playing to the gallery. He said, "Oh, Leeds is a city where backs against the wall." And I'm reading the comments. Bang, bang, bang. He gets it. He understands it. He's Leeds through and through. Love Farker. We've not had a manager like this in ages. And I'm thinking, wow. Hey, Farker, well done, fella. Easy as that. You have just convinced an entire fan base by just literally saying, we're backs against nobody. And I love this city because, and I'm not saying it's disingenuous, but what I'm saying is he's playing to the crowd a little bit there. He knows what he's doing, and he's got some Leeds fans in the palm of his hand. I'm not saying I want him out. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is I'm not seeing any adaptation. I'm not seeing any pragmatism. I'm not seeing any decisions when it comes to substitutions where I'm going, oh, he's made a good decision there. I'm seeing statistics back up the fact that we've got 1 goal from substitutes all season. Ipswich have got 12. Keep mentioning this. Leicester have got 10. Southampton have got 10. He doesn't know when to roll the dice. He doesn't get his substitutions right. And his on-field play is the same and easy to play against. Predictable. So I don't want to come on here and be reactive. I don't want to see the man lose his job. I want longevity at Leeds United. The greatest managers we've ever had have had longevity. but I'm struggling with him. And the question is, everyone, if we are to get to the Premier League, this is a guy who consistently has said, we've heard this through his verb at Leeds, I want to be given a chance in the Premier League. Norwich, who are a much smaller club than Leeds, with a much smaller budget, so their expectations are less, sacked him in the Premier League because the substitutions weren't great. The recruitment, which he has a hand in, wasn't great with Webber. And his in-game management was shocking, from what I've been told. Really, really poor. So he was sacked. So how is that going to work at Leeds? Much bigger club, much bigger expectations, much bigger standards. And if he's going to have an involvement in everything, then the gun's going to be pointed at him. And I just wonder, is he going to deal with the best of the best in the Premier League if he's struggling to break down teams in the Championship with some of the best defensive talent you will ever see in the Championship? And I fully believe that. I am not backing down on that. I am not backing down on the fact that this Leeds United team is stunning Championship level. Crysencio Somerville would be a bench option for any side in the Premier League. I genuinely believe that. I think his dynamism, I mentioned this word a lot, his athleticism, his agility, his brilliance on the ball would be, for any team in the top level, unbelievable. Jorginho Rutter was wanted by Dortmund and they were willing to spend £31 million on him. £31 million on him. Sinisterra is obviously gone. Dan James, yeah, we know he's not great Premier League level, but Championship, I've been one of his biggest critics, but come on. Yo, Perot, even though I'm not his biggest fan, 41 goals in 82 games. Jadon Anthony started 3 Premier League games before we got him on loan at Bournemouth and got 9 goals and 8 assists when he was at Bournemouth in the Championship. It's really, really hard to deny that this guy needs to be doing better with what he's got, in my opinion. After tonight, playoffs, what do you think? Yeah, Daniel. Yeah. For me. And that's it. Steve said, Connor, I like your podcast, but I don't agree with you with this Leeds side. That's fine. There we go. Stephen's, an opposition point, an opposing Leeds fan's point of view. Absolutely fine. No problem with that. And no drama with that, mate. And that's absolutely fine. But I don't really understand what some fans are seeing. That maybe I'm not. He's struggling with plan 1, 2, and 3. He's struggling week in, week out, and especially away from home. We're showing a downgrade, a regression, metric-wise, quantitatively-wise, in us going forward. We're going like that. Backed up by data. We can look at it online. I'll share it on One Leeds. It's going like that from open play. What am I missing? Every time we get close to Ipswich, we bottle it against average sides. Southampton being the outlier. So yeah, for me, it's I am looking at it right now, and listen, there's a lot of people who are saying that it's only a certain amount of games into it so far, which is fine. What are you missing? Patience is what you're missing. Says, hey, but why? So there we go. There's people who disagree and think that because we've got 21 games left, we're going to recuperate that. I try work on the eye test, but also I try work on, data, which is backing everything up at the minute. And I've just said to you guys that, he has no other way of playing. It's passing short. It's passing side to side. It's passing backwards. We don't go over a press, ever. We don't cross the ball into the box. until substitutes are introduced. He introduces subs at the wrong time, and you are seeing our attack drastically reduce in terms of numbers. This isn't an agenda. This isn't me having a reactive approach. These are things that we're seeing every week now. So yeah. If you want to hear what Oscar said, Oscar's come out and said, I'm not full on Far Cry, but F me, he needs to sort this out, FFS, and quick. Oscar believes that he's a bit of a liability in terms of Perot as well, who I think, I did focus a lot on Perot tonight, and I think a lot of people have as well, understandably for the amount we paid for him or what we're getting back from him. And I think that's where I'm at with Oscar. I do not want him to leave, but I need to see more fight in the players. I need to see. I'm seeing too many flat performances, which for me is instigated by the manager in the changing rooms at the start of the game and at halftime. Halftime was an embarrassment. We're coming out in the second half. We're an utter embarrassment. There's no change in what we're doing. If anything, Corbrand's got his players out looking a little bit more up for it. We're not. We're flat again. What's going on at halftime? What's going on? And that can be attributed to a lot of games this season. And I need more from him. I really do. And I'm not solely blaming Farke. The players don't seem to be able to adapt at the minute, but I do think they seem to be following a certain pattern in how to play. So yeah. What you want, you'll not get till the near end of the season. Farke isn't shooting his wad after. I don't know what that means. But yeah, guys, we're gonna leave it there. Make sure you leave a like on the video. We'll be heading on over now to the Patreon to give my player ratings. Make sure you head on over there for bonus content, everybody, if you fancy some. And we'll be back with the 3 things we learned about today, tomorrow. Thanks for your support. Make sure you like as you leave the stream as well. Comment and subscribe. I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.